Hey folks, this is Jake here at Canadian Cutting Edge, and this is probably my last review for the month of May 2019, and it's another neck knife. I'm almost done this series. Well, I've got about 4 or 5 more to go. I've been enjoying this series a lot. Today I've got another one by Boker Plus. Now, Boker Plus simply has a number of neck knives that I feel quite attracted to. This one is discontinued. It's hard to find. I should have done the review of this one like a month ago. I didn't realize that they were, running out. I bought this from Boker USA, and now they don't even list it anymore. But there's some other places where you can get this as low as $29.95 American, and I've got a link for that down below. I'm not an affiliate with that seller or anything, but it's the best price, and that's why I'm telling you about it. If you live in other places, I've got some other links as well. This is 440C, which you see a fair bit at Boker Plus, and I do like 440C a fair bit. It's a short 2-inch cutting edge, but a full handle blade. So when it comes in a neck knife kit, you've got something light, easy to handle, very secure in hand, and I'm almost finished the review already. Well, I better get this thing on the tabletop and take you a closer look and give you the details. Stick around, it's coming at you right now. All right, I didn't mention in the intro who the designer is. The designer for this is, you see the CS logo there, Christian Strauss. I looked him up. I can't find anything about Christian Strauss as a designer, knife designer. There's a bunch of names Strauss out there, but Christian Strauss, sorry. If anybody knows his webpage, if he's got his own webpage or other stuff, link it down below. It might not get automatically posted, but I will see that text. I will see that comment and I will approve it, especially if it simply has the link for Christian Strauss as a designer. We've got G10 handle scales, 440C steel, Kydex sheath, neck knife style. Comes with this light chain. That's about 25-pound test. The spacing on here is pretty good. You could use this like some kind of belt attachment system to either wear, scout style in the small of your back, or to wear, as a boot knife, it's a regular belt knife. A lot of different ways to wear this, but I'm reviewing it as a neck knife, which is how it is originally promoted as. The Kydex sheath is done quite well. You can see that point right there. That's to coincide with this. So when you put it in, it spreads the Kydex apart big time and it clamps it right on there. That holds it very securely. It's not coming out. Very little noise. If you shake it around, it's just a very good hold, a good design. Had no problems at all with the sheath. There's a hole down here for drainage. So if you do get water in there somehow, it can come out either end. That's a good thing. It's a fairly narrow handle this way, and it's got a totally exposed lanyard hole back here. So with that narrowness there, if you tie paracord on here, it's not going to bulk it up at all. It's going to help keep it small and thin. So this does not print very much if you wear it under your shirt, and it's just a very good neck knife in those terms of how easy it is to carry, how light it is, how secure it sits in the sheath, the noise that it makes, those kinds of things just are all fine. Now, I took this handle off so I can show you the inside of this knife. Here's just a still picture. So there's no skeletonizing. So if there was a little bit of skeletonizing, I wish there was a couple little holes here. You could probably use some paracord or even some holes up here to do a paracord wrap on here. For some people might want to do it that way. But the reason they didn't do that is it won't lock into the sheath then. You must have this G10 up here in order for that to work. So that's why there's no paracord wrap system here at all. So I thought somebody was going to ask that, so I wanted to cover that right away. Let's go over all of the specs on this thing. I know it's a little early in the video. I usually do that later, but let's just do that right now. The weight of this knife, it's 98 grams, 127 with the sheath. That's 3.45 ounces, 4.45 ounces with both together. The cutting edge, how sharp is it from the factory? It was 230. The factory did not sharpen this thing very well at all, but it's 440C, not hard to sharpen at all, and I've got a superb edge on it now. But even at that 230, it still cut pretty well. I did a number of different tests. I cut different fibers. I don't usually do cut tests, but I just feel like showing you a little cut test today. This is a belt that's very stiff. It's more stiff than a seat belt. It's harder to cut through than a seat belt. And yeah, let's use the back of this thing just so that I can show you. This knife, if you slide it through here, it takes a few cuts, but you can get all the way through. This is a very heavy, heavy belt. You can just slice this way if you want to, and as you can see, it's slicing through. It's, you know, once it's set up, it's done. It cuts quite well, and that's because it's got a good hollow grind in there. So there's nothing to balk at about the design of the blade. The length of the cutting edge is 5.12 centimeters, 2.01 inches. The length of the blade, so tip of the blade to the closest spot on the G10 is 6.6 centimeters, 2.6 inches. The thickness of the blade stock here is 3.3 millimeters, which is 0.13 of an inch. The blade depth, its biggest right here, 3.25 centimeters, 1.28 inches. The thickness of the edge behind the grind, 0.64 millimeters, which is 0.025 inches. So it's a little thicker behind the grind than I'd like, but thankfully it's a hollow grind, so it'll stay that thickness and not much thicker for a number of sharpenings. I really do like hollow grinds for that. Now the grind angle, this is where they messed up at the factory. I'm telling you, they messed up big time. This side, the part that has the CS logo on it, that was sharpened to 21.3 degrees. Not bad, you say. This side was sharpened to 10.6 degrees. So one side was very shallow and the other side was pretty close to standard. 20 degrees per side is standard in the industry for something like this. So I've resharpened this thing to 20 degrees per side. Now for the handle, the G10 to the end of the handle, 9.42 centimeters, 3.71 inches. The handle thickness is 8.6 millimeters, which is 0.338, so a third of an inch thick. The handle depth is biggest right there. Well, I didn't count this, so that's about the same actually. Right there, 2.7 centimeters, 1.06 inches. The grip area, and this time I measured including this forward choil because it does work very, very well, and it's wide. It's that 3.3 centimeters the whole way. The grip area is 10.7 centimeters, 4.2 inches. Big hand can get a solid grip on this thing. And the total length of this knife is 16.13 centimeters. Oh, I didn't convert that to inches, and the inches are on the screen up there. So there you go. I forgot to keep this on here. Well, we're done with the specs now. I moved it off when I was doing the sharpening of the showing you the little bit of cutting. I go to something not quite normal. I change my routine a bit and things don't always work out. Sorry about that, guys. So what are the special features? I like that we've got a big belly on this blade. This is not a self-defense neck knife. If you're looking for a self-defense neck knife, keep looking. This is not a good choice for that role. But as an EDC neck knife, this thing is optimal. The grip in here is beautiful. This thumb ramp coming up with the jimping in it, you can lock your thumb in there perfect. This huge forward choil, and then this second choil is pretty big too. You've got your two main fingers and your thumb in there, and this thing's such a solid grip, it's not going anywhere. And both hands, very, very comfortable. And you can do a lot of hard work with this without, risking dropping the knife or something odd going on. Since it's the full thickness of the blade till you get to that hollow grind, you can get a secure fingertip on there for delicate work. Normally when we cut through stuff, we tend to use that first inch that's closest to the fingers. We got the most torque there anyways. So this knife is just great for cutting all kinds of things and a little bit precision there. I wish there was a sharpener's choil, Come on, guys, just a small sharpener's tool. So when I resharpen this, actually, I'll give you a close-up picture. You know, that doesn't look too pretty right there, and that's because it's really hard to sharpen to the end. What I do, and I did mar it up a little bit, I thought I had duct tape on it. I clamp a small vice grip on here, and that stops my sharpening stone from going over further than I want it to. I use that as a little bit of a guide. That's just a hint for if you're getting close to your plunge and you don't want to sharpen all the way into it, clamp on just a thin needle nose vice grip and you're good to go. Okay, so I've covered everything I want to cover on there. The lanyard's great. The grip on the G10's great. I like how it's thin and light and comfortable. Grip on there is perfect. Beautiful knife. Cuts very, very well. Hollow grind is beautiful for this job. It's a great EDC neck knife. If you're looking for something like this, I say go buy this ASAP, because since they're discontinued, a lot of places no longer have them. You can't find them on Amazon.com. A number of stores simply don't have them anymore. So I've got links for a few places in North America and in Europe so that you can get them if you want to. If you're a Canadian, don't worry about buying this from overseas. CBSA will let this through, no problem at all. There's no reason for them to deny entry to this knife. It's those flipper knives that they're focusing on, the folding flippers that they really hate. I just got a letter from them yesterday. I got the letter. On January 6th, they intercepted a package from my sister's last package to me before I switched to one of my friends helping me out. And of the 5 knives, 2 of the flippers were taken, and it said that they were automatic knives. That's what it says in the form. Automatic knives, and then in brackets, handwritten, it says flipper. So CBSA is now considering flipper knives as automatic knives. You know, automatic knives are illegal in Canada. Always have been. Well, since the law came through in the early 80s. Maybe before that too. I'm pretty sure before that too. But assisted knives, a lot of assisted knives are legal. It depends on how the spring works, but a lot of assisted knives are totally legal. And now they are stopping flipper knives, and they've been doing this for over a year now. For a year and a half, they've been stopping flipper knives as though they are automatics. And it's starting to really, really bother me. And fellow Canadians, please get on board with the legal fight against CBSA. There's just a little over $10,000 of funds raised in over a year. Come on, guys, we can do a whole lot better than that. I have donated $50 of my money to that cause already. I'm going to donate more money after I go to Blade Show and come back. I'm going to sell a bunch of knives to recover some of my expenses to stay at Blade Show. And I'm going to make another donation to that legal fight against CBSA. If you are from the United States or some other country and you want to help out your Canadian friends, go ahead and donate to that. Even if it's just $2, every little bit will add up and help. So thank you very much. If you have an American knife store and you like to sell to Canadians, maybe you want to consider donating a little bit. Everything helps. The GoFundMe is through the United States, and so your donations will be in US dollars, even if you're a Canadian. GoFundMe, at least at that time when this fundraiser started, did not have a Canadian way of collecting funds. Unfortunately, GoFundMe is the most well-known social media fundraising tool, and that's why that tool was used to raise funds, even though it's in US dollars. So please join the fight against CBSA. Stop them from taking away legal knives from us. The law says flipper knives are fine. The law says almost all folding knives are fine. You know, butterfly knives, those are a no-go. Automatic knives, those are a no-go. But pretty much all other folding knives are supposed to be legal. Love the Canadian system. Logic prevails. No, it doesn't. But thank you to everybody for watching this video. Thanks for liking, sharing, commenting, and subscribing. And to my Patreon supporters, I sent out a private message to you guys on Patreon. Please check that out. And remember, everybody, cut towards your chum, not your thumb.